Hey guys, Patrick here with the Alphas and Outliers podcast. So why did I choose Rocky Leiner and Makoa Beck to do an episode with? Well, all three of us share a love of a lot of the same things: cars, luxury watches, and MMA. So here we are, three guys. What could go wrong? We had a lot of fun on that episode, so check it out. Hey Rocky, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
What's going on, Patrick?
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Awesome. So what's going on here? What are we doing? What is this? This is awesome.
This is my personal car. This is my 2020 Porsche GT4. And it's my display car that we take to all the car events because I like being able to showcase what we can do in the shop outside of the shop. So this car has everything we can do to a car here. It has full paint protection film, it has the vinyl wrap underneath the paint protection film, ceramic coating on top of it, window tint, custom Boston wheels on the car. Because when we're out, it's so much easier to show someone the quality of our work versus trying to explain it to them.
Right.
And I bought this car just, we'll take it to events, we'll show some work, and I just fell in so much love with it that I drive it to work and take it to Publix every single day. My wife hates getting in and out of the bucket seats, but I don't care. It's take it to the track. This car just goes everywhere that I go.
Yep.
I love it so much. I'm a dealer. I've had so many cars in here. I've driven just about every car that you could drive. And for some reason, everything in this car is just exactly where I need it to be. It's just a perfect car for me. Everybody has a perfect car for them.
Yep.
And this one is just fits like a glove.
Oh, what'd you drive here today?
Nothing as flashy as the beautiful Porsche here.
Beauty is
But definitely a stallion of its own.
Yeah.
I have a 2022 BMW S1000RR. So for anybody that doesn't know anything about bikes, this is basically as badass as you can get as far as sports bikes and big 1000 cc's go. I bought it in February this year with about 600 miles on it, got the break-in service done, purchased it, and then put a stage 1 tune on it, and then a full titanium header system, and she's fast. She definitely has, enough power to get you going, and I'm gonna say it's about 205 horsepower to the wheel, which, for something that's about 420 pounds or so, is plenty of power. But yeah, I mean, she also has all the, every bell and whistle that you could possibly have as far as the track, or, taking it on the track goes. It's got electronic suspension that you can adapt there through the handlebars, actually. It's got wheelie control, traction control, ABS. Have I tried? Not this one. I have a 2015 Yamaha R6 that I've gone to the track with. Have that one a little bit more set up for the track. This one, since it's kind of a little bit more expensive and more of my daily baby, I'd rather do the R6 because in case anything does happen, this is gonna be a hell of a lot more expensive to fix. And I love this one for everything that, it's comfortable, it's a fast bike, it's fun, and the R6 is just a lot more aggressive. So I think that, this is more my daily kind of thing, just like the GT4, and the R6 is more just track ready. So
Love the carbon wrap on it.
yeah, thank you.
Love that. That looks really nice.
Thank you.
So Rocky, tell us exactly what it is you do here.
We do a lot of different things here. We specialize in paint protection film installations, ceramic coating, premium detailing, window tinting, color change vinyl wraps, custom wheels, and we're also a dealership, so we buy and sell luxury, exotic, and specialty cars. And we try to be sort of a one-stop shop for everything cosmetic and customization. We have a staff of 11 people working here, and everyone that works here is factory trained and authorized installers for all of the products that we use as well.
Cool.
So yeah, we're kind of just trying to do as much as we can here to provide excellent service to the Palm Beaches.
Excellent. What is this that we're standing in here? What is the...
That's a great question. So this is our light tunnel, and this has so many different purposes. So the main purpose is, of course, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
And the other ones behind that are that it's good for our quality inspections of the cars. So every car, after we wrap it, detail, we bring it into the light tunnel, because it doesn't just give you lighting on the top of the car like the rest of the shop does, right? If you bring it outside in the sun, you just see light on the top.
Yeah.
It shows you lighting on the sides of the car as well. So we can thoroughly go over and inspect the cars before we give them out to the customers. It's also just great for video, photography, and if you look past the light tunnel, we have some nightclub equipment in here. We have color changing lights, compressed air cannons, massive subwoofer, speakers, a laser light show, a fog machine. So when a customer comes to pick up their car after we wrapped it a different color, whatever it may be, we don't really tell them we have this.
Yeah.
And we have this roll down curtain in front of it. And they walk in and we raise the curtain and there's music, a laser light show happening. So it looks like a nightclub presenting their car to them. Yeah, we call it the Rocky's Ultimate Delivery. And because when you come here, I try to create a whole experience for the customer. You know, I've been a customer in other shops where they kind of just throw you the keys and there's a puddle in the parking lot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thanks. You know, I really like to emphasize on the emotion because it's so important to me to see the customer's reaction when they accept the car.
Wow. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I'll do the delivery for you before you guys go.
Oh, absolutely. Nice. So what's up with this car? I noticed that it's got your name on it. Is this one of yours?
This is actually my dad's car. Oh. He is also a massive car guy. It's in our blood.
Right.
And yeah, this is his baby, his 812 super fast. And he kind of let us do our thing on it too. You know, he designed the way that he wanted. We did full paint protection film on the car to protect it from rock chips, scratches.
Right.
Ceramic coated on top of it, tinted the windows. We put a paint protection. This is actually black paint protection film stripe going down the center of the car. And if you look closely, you asked me this earlier. You said, "Is that forged carbon?"
Yep.
This is actually also paint protection film. So it has a design on it. It's thicker than vinyl wrap, and it's self-healing, and it protects it. That's called Damascus. It's a really cool product because before it was just satin black plastic. And we like to just jazz it up a little bit. But with this stuff, you got to be careful because if you do too much, it can get a little tacky.
Yep.
Got to have the right amounts of it.
No, I think it's the perfect blend, especially all along the side skirts and even the rear diffuser over here. Oh.
So back here, this is where the magic happens. This is where we do all of our detailing, paint correction, ceramic coating. We actually even have special enclosed rooms that are separate from the rest of the shop that are reserved for vinyl wraps, PPF, and window tinting, because we try to keep them as dust-free as possible. Because if you're trying to tint a window or wrap a car and there's a bunch of dust in there, it's not going to work out. Right now, you know, typically we have a lot of guys working back here and it's a little more movement happening. But it's a Saturday, so, you know, I gave the guys off. But back here, we have all kinds of stuff going on. We have customer cars here that are about to be worked on. Some of them are completed. Some of them are for sale cars. And during, you know, Monday when we open up, I rearrange them to part, which makes a little more sense. So, yeah, separate the for sale ones. And I see guys eyeing up the 67 Camaro over here. I did what you're not supposed to do as a car dealer, and I bought this car with my emotions. But, you know, I fell in love with the color. I've had my eyes on one for a long time, and I saw this one, and it's a brand new resto mod. There's only 700 miles on the entire build. It took us 7 years, not us, but somebody else, 7 years to build this car.
Good.
And I bought it, and I've had my fun with it for a few months, put a couple miles on it, and I was like, all right, it's time to sell it. And before I even listed it online, it was sold.
Really?
Yeah, to a celebrity client of mine. And he's a very famous basketball player. And he's like, I love the car. I love that old school muscle stuff, but you got to make some changes to it. I said, what do you want me to do? He goes, put two 12-inch subwoofers in the trunk, fill with speakers, Apple CarPlay, wrap it matte black. Yeah, it's a wrap. That's the thing. If we were painting it matte black, I'd say no way. But it's a wrap. Whenever you're done with it, you peel it off. You change your mind. So this one, we got the subs in it. We got the Apple CarPlay with the touchscreen. And it's kind of in a couple pieces right now. It looks like a Frankenstein car because we're getting it ready to be wrapped black next week.
All right, guys. So we finally get to sit down and get into the meat and potatoes of everything. So, Makoa, we haven't heard a lot from you other than about your bike and stuff like that. But so I'd like to kind of get into your life and, you know, all about your history and kind of how you got to where you are today, how you ended up, you know, here, and we'll get into eventually what it is you do. But why don't you take us back in your history and tell us where you grew up.
So I am a true Florida native. I was born in Boynton Beach, Florida. And then right around when I was about almost 3 years old, I kind of moved up north a little bit more towards like Juno Beach area.
Okay.
And kind of just grew up all around that area there. I went to school. It used to be called North Palm Beach Elementary there. Now switched over to the conservatory school. And then from there, I transitioned into a school called Bach Middle School of the Arts. And I got a big background. So before this, actually. My mom, she was a big on-air personality, and she also modeled for a company called Hawaiian Tropic. So she moved out to Hawaii and lived there for a few years. So I'm not really totally sure. I knew she kind of lived in all over. I know she definitely lived in Oahu, and I think she lived in Maui a little bit too. I know she traveled, all over there, but she also lived with the Rothman family, so like Makoa, Ko Rothman, Eddie Rothman, all them. And since my name is Makoa, that's kind of how she got my name, is from babysitting them back in 95 or something around there. Right. And then she always said that if she had a boy, she would name it Makoa, because she kind of found Koa in a baby book and she found Makua in the baby book, but then she found that they were together.
Mm-hmm. On a walk.
Mm-hmm. So she blended them together and said if she'd have a boy, it would be Makoa, and then if she had a daughter, it would be Mia Ayana. So obviously I'm graced with Makoa.
You could have been Mia.
I could have been a Mia, yeah. both M names, but yeah. So then again, fast forward, she was a Hawaiian Tropic model, so she lived out there. And she always had a great personality and knack for doing a lot of things in that way, making a lot of connections. Right. So then she transitioned into, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, she went through radio broadcasting school, and she just fell in love with doing that. So she was on the air for 94.3 Real Radio, and she worked on, originally it was Nights on Real Radio, did that for, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 years, and then she transitioned into the Love Doctors and all that kind of stuff. And that ties into me is because when I was going into middle school, I had a cousin that went to Bach Middle School of the Arts, and she was going into her 8th grade year, and she was a dance major there. And so she really wanted me to come because we were very close. And so my mom did a little bit more research into it, and she really wanted me to go because she saw that they do similar things to what she does, on the radio. They did broadcast journalism, so TV production, that kind of thing, speech and debate. And she felt like it would be a really good opportunity for me. Me not really knowing what else I wanted to do other than just go to middle school, I decided, why not audition, because it's one of the schools you got to audition to get in, and if you get accepted, obviously you're able to go into the school there. So auditioned, sure enough, made it through, ended up having a blast through middle school, made a lot of really good friends there, and then transitioned into the high school version, which is Dreyfus, and it's the same kind of process. You audition to get in. I want to say my auditioning year, there was somewhere around 17,000 kids that auditioned for the school, and they only accept about 300 kids or so.
So when you auditioned, what did you particularly do?
So the major that I studied was communications. Again, that broadcast journalism, TV production, newspaper, regular journalism, Photoshop, video editing, that kind of whole thing. They actually have you do specific things during your audition. So I had to write a 1-minute speech and perform that in front of them. And basically the speech was to whatever the word or phrase that they gave us was, like a month or 2 months beforehand. And I think if I remember correctly, mine was it literally just said courage or something like that. And so it's up to me to perform the speech however I want to, whether it's a monologue, whether it's an actual speech talking about courage and giving a breakdown from that. And then they teach you, at least in middle school, since I had a little bit of a background, I kind of knew already how to move my hands, how to walk around, how to engage with them and making eye contact and that kind of thing. And so, I kind of had that as a strong suit. I had to perform that for them, and then we would go back into another room while everybody else is doing those speeches. They gave you another topic, word, phrase, sentence, whatever it was, and we got 20 minutes to write a storyboard basically about that, which storyboard is basically kind of like you're going to be making a movie, but you're planning out what the shots are going to be, how you're going to sequence them, describing what's going to be in those shots and kind of laying out a visual of what the idea is going to be about. And then, backstep. After you perform that speech, they run you through actually like a 5-10 minute interview, whatever it is, ask you a bunch of different questions, could be anything and everything, just to get a feel for who you are, and how you act. And so, did that. And then again, the audition with the storyboard script. And then they showed us a clip from I don't remember if it was a show or if it was a movie. But they show us like a 5-minute clip, and we're supposed to jot down what is there and what we see, kind of analyze what it is. And then from there, we get 15 minutes to write a creative writing essay on what we either think is going to happen next or create a whole story dynamic from there on. And so that, again, that whole process, once it's finished up, you get about 3 months before you find out if you got in or not.
Did you get in?
I, of course, got in. I ended up actually being one of the top scorers for my major. So they judge you, on a scale of 1 to 5, and anybody who does get a 5 or a perfect score automatically gets accepted. So I was one of those kids, and then from there, anybody who was on like a 3 or a 4 are kind of, they do like a 20% acceptance rate from there, and then after that, then they throw you in a hat and draw your name kind of thing and let you in from there. So yeah, that was my study through high school. And then during that whole period of time, my stepfather opened a fitness facility. And so he opened that about 2012. And it was actually literally a mile down the road from my high school. Favorite events in the 4x, along with the 4x1, and then my 200 was kind of more an event where I really enjoyed the challenge of running that double distance. And I couldn't really make it past that. Like if I did a 400, I'd get smoked. So 100, 200 kind of for me was just the quicker ability to be able to run and perform at the level that I could perform at least against my peers. And but yeah, so then surrounded by sports and athletics growing up, just because my dad was a very big fitness guy, and then worked there after school. And then around like 2017 when I graduated, my goal was kind of to just do like Palm Beach State for a year or two. But then I just got a really big travel bug because I went out to Europe. That was kind of my first experience going out of the country, and I got the big travel bug. Decided, you know what, I'm just going to focus mainly on business, building my clientele, just kind of, reading a lot more, and just kind of doing a lot more interpersonal work. And from there, I ended up taking over ownership of the gym in 2018, and I've just been running it alongside, my stepfather ever since. Just kind of building clientele.
So what do you? I hear so many things in there you said. It's so funny because I have similar experience. Like,
yeah.
I ran track in high school. I played football. That was my main thing. But then I ran track also. But my main thing in track was I threw discus.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that was my one thing. One time I got recruited to. One of our guys was hurt or sick or something, and they couldn't do the mile relay. And the mile relay was the last race of the meet. They said, "Come on, do it." I've been sitting. I just been sitting. I had, my stuff was over. I was just sitting down talking to people and everything. And I think we were winning. We won the meet. And so here comes this event, right? And I said, no, I didn't even have track spikes. My girlfriend left. She had my spikes in her car.
Yep.
Because I did the long jump also. And it's like, so I ran in tennis shoes. And they put me on the anchor. They said, no worries, we'll get you so far ahead, you
won't even have to worry about it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't stretch. I'm not used to running like that. And the guy that was anchoring the opponent's team was the current state champion for something else. Not this event, but he was like the long distance. This dude could smoke anybody.
Yeah.
And he caught me at about the halfway mark. That's how much of a lead I had on him.
Yeah.
And he caught me at that point and passed me like I was standing still. And I had rigor mortis so bad. I couldn't even, my hammies were so tight. I just eventually just kind of jogged, made it home. Everybody was like leaving and nobody could. It was bad. But I was also a communications major in high school.
Nice.
Or not high school, but college. Until I wanted to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be an honor personality for like music station.
Sweet, okay.
And unfortunately, the instructor about the second week of that course told the entire class that I just want to give you guys some real world perspective. None of you in here are going to be an on-air personality at any radio station except maybe one of you might get lucky and you might be on air doing commercials or something for some country music station out in BFE someplace. Otherwise, you're not going to have a career. You might work in administration. You might clean up the office. You might, be a whatever. And a bunch of us just sat there with our dreams crushed. And I remember talking to other guys, and I'm like, well, that sucks, you know. I said, so I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I went into business instead, changed my major and went into business. I think I made that decision about the broadcasting thing my senior year was when I finally decided that was what I wanted to do. Because I was a musician.
Yep.
I was an athlete, but I was always a musician.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I always liked playing sports. So I figured when I get to college, I'm going to play football in college. If I have to walk on, whatever it is I'm doing. I ended up going to a junior college for my first 2 years.
Yep.
And I played there. But it was a case of, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. I thought I wanted to be a professional musician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that ended up actually happening. But the broadcasting thing was, I was trying to think about something that would be a job that would be like a regular thing that I could transition into. And, you know, after my music career, if music didn't really work out for me or whatever, I'd be able to be on air and I'd be the real Don Steele, or I'd be somebody else, you know, a really cool guy. Well, yeah, no, that ended 2 weeks into my college, you know, course for that. So, all right, that's enough. But it's funny, you're right, because a lot of stuff does happen kind of spontaneously. You just happen to be in the right place with the right person at the right time, and they can influence your thought process. And you say, I never thought about that before. And that's kind of been my life path. I have made course changes, I can't even tell you how many different times.
Yep.
Some people call me, you know, the quote unquote serial entrepreneur, because I've owned like 7 companies now. And it's all been a great experience. You know, they've all been great learning experiences, stuff like that.
For sure.
And some of them have been not so great, but I learned from them. So I always tell people, you know, hey, you can fail. Every failure brings you one step closer to success. So if you learn from those failure experiences, and I definitely had my times like that doing that.
Absolutely.
But you made a good point, because, you may have had a plan or an idea, you were going this direction, but all of a sudden that changed and you end up over here, you know?
So I'm curious, did you have that same kind of moment, or was it kind of more like you already knew that you were just going to have a garage and
we're getting around to that. Good one.
Yeah, it's zero plans.
Zero plans.
Zero plans to be in the car business.
Yeah.
Zero. But most of my life.
You said your dad's a big car guy. Was he always a big car guy?
Yeah, forever.
Okay, so you always had influence in your life.
Yeah, but even before, I feel like I had the influence. It was something just natural. Not even just cars. Anything that had wheels or an engine. Like, I was just obsessed with.
Right.
Like, if you go to my parents' house in New Jersey, I was born and raised at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us a little, hang on. Give us that part. We're going to come right back to this. Tell us about your upbringing.
Born and raised at the Jersey Shore, and people take that very different. You don't have you say the Jersey.
Of course.
You have a tan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait, get some paint, spray paint.
Yeah, right. Dimey orange. And you know, it's funny if you go into the attic at my parents' house today, my childhood stuff's in there. Oh, you will find cases of Hot Wheels cars.
Yep.
In there. I think I would buy them like multiple at a time. I don't think I had like a first that I could remember. But I think I had some favorites. And none of them really made sense. I don't think they were really like real cars.
No, yeah, they were concept. Exactly. Exactly. I had a big suitcase, literally like this tall, where you could fit 150.
Yeah.
It's stacked in. I would wheel that around everywhere I went.
They're so spoiled. I had 2. My first one, it's funny. We went to the toy store by our house, and this is how bad it was back then. And my mom wanted to get me a Hot Wheels car, so I went in with her so I could figure it out, right? And they go, "We don't have any. They're all sold out." And the lady opens up the cash drawer. She goes, "I have this one." And it was a purple Ford Torino. This is like 1970 or 1969. No, it was not that. It was 68, 69, something like that. It was a purple, like metal flake, really cool purple Torino. That was my first Hot Wheel car.
Do you still have it?
No.
Some of those things are worth a lot of money.
At least I still have it. Yeah. Anyway, continue. So, Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
You and Snooki.
Yeah, me and Snooki, we grew up together. Yeah. So cars, anything with wheels, skateboards, dirt bikes, just anything. I just gravitated towards it. And of course, my dad being a car guy always helped too. He always had like a cool Porsche or something. And Something that really stuck with me that I thought was so much fun was we really bond over cars. And me being a kid, he taught me how to drive a manual from the passenger seat, pretty much.
Really?
He would let me shift the gears in the car as a little kid.
That's pretty cool.
And that's just something that just sticks with you forever. And then I remember driving a manual in the driver's seat as I got older, and I'm like, hold on, this is all backwards for me because I was so used to do it.
Yeah.
Left side.
Right.
But so yeah, I went to school. I'm a terrible student, by the way. Not that I was trying really hard and I wasn't good at it. I just didn't enjoy being in school. I'm so much more of a worker than I am a student.
Yeah.
And so I graduate and I go to school for business management at Johnson & Wales because I was planning on taking over my family business. My grandfather, almost 50 years ago, started a scrap metal recycling company. And then my father took it over, and I was next in line to take over the business. And that was my plan for my whole life, you know? I really wanted to do it. And, of course, my family wanted me to do it as well. And
They had a dynasty going.
yeah, they had the dynasty going. The business kept growing. It was doing very well. And so I was in college, and I was taking these just very general business courses. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to get so much better experience just working at the family biz. So I leave school. I feel like I was wasting my time there. Not that college is bad or anything. It just wasn't right for me at the moment. And I started working for the family business. And I worked there for 9 years. And I did, you know, worked a lot of different jobs there, learning the business, you know, doing really well. And I just, truly the whole time, I just felt like I was forcing it. And I was not happy there. And cars were just always on my mind. When I wasn't at work, I was doing stuff with cars.
Yeah.
When I was on my lunch break, I was at home cleaning my car.
Yeah.
So
What was your car at that time?
I had a couple of different toys. I had one of my favorites was I had a Camaro SS. That thing was a monster. It was so much fun. But something weird happened with that car. I had like 10,000 miles on it. I was driving it. I was getting onto 95, and the rear axle fell out of the car. I think it's time to trade this thing in. Other than that, it was a great car. But I had to make the decision to leave my family business, which was very, very. It was stressful.
How would I receive?
I didn't know how my dad was going to react to this. I was really blindsiding him with this, you know. And so I sat him down in the kitchen, had the conversation with him, and it was literally. I get chills thinking about that. My hair's standing up. And but he was 100% supportive of my decision. I said, I don't want to do this. I want to be in the car business. And I said, okay, where can we start? And he had a guy that used to wrap some of his cars down here in Florida. And so we called him up, and I said, hey, you know, we met like once. I said, I want to come work for you. Let's, you know, maybe partner up, teach me how to wrap cars. And I was like, yeah, move down here. So sell my house. Pack everything up, and I think like a week later, I just moved down to Florida.
Jeez.
And I started working with the guy, and you know, we're working together. Everything's good, but eventually we were just on different pages. It just didn't end up working out together. And I bounced around, learning from all these different shops until I felt comfortable enough to do it on my own. And this whole time, my dad was by my side, supporting me, coming up with ideas for the garage and the shop and everything, until we said, okay, we're ready to do this. And that's where we decided to come up with Rocky's Ultimate Garage. And there's no better place than Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Florida. We were having lunch at Bricktops together. I'll never forget this. And it was almost better than any car show we've ever been to. It was just Ferrari, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, Bentley. He's taking care of all these cars. And we started doing some research, and we were like, oh my God, there's no brick and mortar place for PPF and ceramic and detailing around here.
Right.
That's how we ended up where we are today.
Nice.
How long have you been here?
We've been open for 2.5 years now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I know I met you was last year at the Supercar Week. It was the end of Supercar Week, so it was the last event down at the on Clematis at the end of the thing there on the around the waterfront.
I love Supercar Week.
And you were you had Ferraris and you had all this great stuff there. And I remember when this is my first one because I had just moved here, and I remember going down there and walking around and looking at the first thing I saw was your trailer this big red trailer with Rocky's Ultimate Garage, and I'm like, well, what is this? And I'm looking at all these cars and stuff. I'm like, I think there was a Mustang. Did you have a Mustang at that time?
Oh,
There was like as I remember, there was this.
was there a red GT500 white
Yes,
stripes?
yes.
Yeah, that was one of my customers' cars.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that was there. Was that there?
probably. It's hard for me to remember. We moved there to the Super.
Well, I know there was like, I'm like, where are these cars? What is this place? So I walk over there. I just walk up, and your guys were there and stuff, and they were really nice. I think you eventually walked up and introduced yourself, and I was talking to them about that Jag that I got, and I want to eventually get it over here and get it the whole thing restored and whatnot. And I said, so they're talking to me about that, and yeah, and you said, wait a minute. You walked back and you grabbed a hat and you brought me a hat. And I didn't have a hat for the day. And I'm like, cool. So I got a hat. So I walked around that whole thing that whole day, meeting with all these people and stuff. And I was wearing your hat.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember giving you the hat.
Yep.
And I remember I tell the guys at the shows, I said, nobody gets a hat unless they book an appointment or give them information.
Right.
And I remember having a little, like,
Yeah.
what
It was.
They're like, what the heck? Like, you're giving this guy a hat. You didn't book an appointment. I'm like, he will.
I will.
He is.
I put him in here.
I said, I told him, I was honest. I said, the car's not here.
Yeah.
It's in California.
Uh-huh.
But I got to get it trucked over here. So, and I said, yeah, so I,
What kind of Jag?
we'll get to it. I just moved here. So give me a shot. And he goes, okay, give him a hat. And give me That was cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love that hat.
What
Super Week?
No, I actually haven't. I actually have not.
You come to our booth. I have you doing push-ups.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect. Put a little pull-up bar. Get the, what is it, the 2 minutes you can hang out of the bar. What kind of Jag did you have?
It was my dad's car. Well, it is my dad's car. But I'm getting the car.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll probably have to give him money for it, but we've had the discussion.
Yeah.
And he actually wanted me to buy it. And I'm like, so we're kind of at odds as far as what it's worth.
Uh-huh.
So I just said, Dad, whatever, but it's a 1976 XJC12.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the big 12.
It's a saloon car.
Yep.
2-door version.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that. I showed you that one. But it's got a V12 in it. It's got the big, the Jag V12,
Uh-huh.
You know what me and him would do if we owned that car? Straight pipe it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I actually talked to a guy that I know here that does custom transmissions and stuff. So he actually will rebuild this. It's like the guy everybody, you probably know him. I forget his name, but his name is Paul. I don't remember the last name. He lives over off of PGA. But everybody uses him to rebuild not just do shitty rebuilds. He does custom blueprinted stuff. They can change stuff and make cars go faster and everything. I know a guy in Britain. Have you ever watched the show Harry's Garage?
I never watched
If you
it.
haven't, watch it. It's really cool. It's a British guy. He's got a bunch of cars. He's got a classic Lambo. He's got classic. He's got a Countach. He's got a what else has he got in there? He's got Ferrari. He's got all this stuff. And he's got a Jag XJC12. And it's manual. And it does have that sound. It's got that Jaguar,
that brr
sound and everything. And it just sounds so cool when he's going by the camera and he's taking off and going something like, I want my car to sound like that. So that's the only reason why I thought about that. Plus I love manual transmission. I just love it to death. If if every car I had one, I'd be happy. So so that's the project car coming down the road. But it's sexy. I'll show you a picture of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sexy car. This episode of Alphas and Outliers is brought to you by Rocky's Ultimate Garage and Northbridge Fitness Center, both located in West Palm Beach.